Ah! Shit. I like it. Weld the brake rotor to the crankshaft, and then we put a little bit of something up there, and we could have a little seat or coffee table, depending, I guess, sort of what the end result is like. I'm gonna cut these studs off, and then we'll try and grind it up as much as we can to get rid of as much of the rust. Ideally, if I had a sandblaster, I'd hit it with a sandblaster, but unfortunately I don't have one of those yet. It is hot as shit though. I need like a fan or something in here. Safety first, chuck on some glasses. I need to come up with I'm dripping with sweat, breathing in an unsafe amount of rust right now. And I need that door open for ventilation. I'm gonna be highlighted to heck, but in the interest of my own safety, unfortunately, that's what we're gonna have to do. We are good to stick these together. My previous experience with stick welding is all of doing one video of trying stick welding. But I've just got so many stick welding rods there. And this is very thick metal, so I'll have a hard time trying to burn a hole through it. The old weather app said it's 42 degrees outside and I'm sitting in a somewhat metal container. I'm not cut out for this heat. The grinder makes me the welder I ain't. I know it's not a dust mask, but it's the only mask I have. think this is the one that I've used before. I can't remember if it was this brand or a different brand, but this epoxy enamel stuff I find is really, really good for this sort of thing. And I think I did the Lancer control arms in this as well when I stripped them, and it just came out really, really nice. The great thing about this as well, you can spray it onto lightly rusted surfaces, so it'll seal it all off anyway, and it'll sort of do like a little bit of a rust treatment if this is the can that I'm thinking it is. If you're concerned about overspray landing on the Lancer, don't worry. That needs a sand and respray anyway. The paint job I did on it hasn't turned out so great. I need a drink and give that time to dry. Oh, that wasn't very satisfying. I was waiting for like a full-on... It tastes terrible, but it's refreshing. I need like a squeeze of lime or lemon into it. By some amount of luck, I was just playing around with things, and this bolt fits in the top of here, and there's a little bearing in here that amazingly still spins, which means if I can figure out how to attach something to something that fits into that bearing, I could have a seat and it would spin, which I think would be sick. And that's where I came across this little piece in the scrap metal pile, and the bolt on this actually fits into that thread as well. And then what I can do, cut this, I gotta find some like metal plates somewhere, weld the top of this nut onto those metal plates, so there's metal plates that go out as like a support, and then those, whoop, get drilled into the wood. I don't have a welding table, so I don't have anything to put this on. I'm very aware that welding directly on a wooden table was probably not one of my smarter decisions, but I don't really have many other options. And I gotta try and get this thing somewhat straight. Don't forget the safety squint. Ah! Shit! I don't know if that was in shot, but my my phone caught fire. My table is smoking a considerable amount as well. So we're back with this like Pimp Club velvet purple. It's kind of all I've got. Yeah, I like it. So it is a little bit loose still on the top because it's just sort of sitting in that bearing. But maybe later on down the track, I'll figure out how to get that bearing out. It'll probably get destroyed taking it out. But then get a new bearing and then bolt and then put a nut on the other side of that bolt so that it actually like clamps onto the bearing and then get it back in. But for now, this is kind of sick.